So welcome back to the channel, and what I thought I'd do is have a little teardown on the HT Instruments Neptune Insulation Multimeter that I've been reviewing a few videos back. It's something that I like to do to instruments that I'm not so familiar with, basically to look at the build quality, see what it's like inside, see what the protection is like inside. This instrument is actually claiming Cat 4 600 volts, Cat 3 1000 volts. You can see underneath the rotary switch there and above the jacks. So I'll take a look at that, and also when it's an unusual instrument that I've not seen before, I like to try and find out if it's an original build by that manufacturer or if it is actually a clone. And if it is a clone, sometimes the original manufacturer leaves a few little clues inside. So the rear cover has been taken off, just 4 screws to hold it in place. They were little standard screws threaded into the plastic, fairly commonplace these days. 2 are inside here, inside the battery compartment, and then the other 2 are at the top here. What I have noticed with this, the tilt bail stays in place when you take the battery compartment lid off, and it makes it a bit awkward to get to some of these batteries. These ones are okay, that the spring is on this side and you push in that way, but for these other ones that you have to go in from the other side and try and get that out, it's a little bit awkward. Well, you can see that well, can you? Put a shirt there, it's a bit awkward to get your finger in there and push against the spring to wake the battery out. You can do it, but it's just yeah, stuff like your flukes and your key sights. The tilt bail comes away with either with the battery compartment or with a rubber boot, and you get easy access to the battery. So that's just a mini whine. No wires connecting the battery pack onto the PCB. You've got the 2 contact pads there, and then on the PCB itself, looks like we've got a couple of 4-pin connectors there and there, either brass or they may be gold plated. They're spring loaded. It's quite nice. Okay, so there's your PCB itself. It does say on the PCB HT Italia, so I presume this is an original design and build. So no clone as far as I'm aware. There's your 2 contacts that go onto the studs of the input jacks, screwed into place. And then you, this is the positive voltage input. So there's your dropper circuit coming along here. There's a small PTC here. By the looks of things, it's called RV3. And also we have the fuse for input protection. The only thing I will say, if I hold them up a bit closer, hopefully you can see that that fuse is soldered in place. No contacts, which will not make it an overly enjoyable item to replace should you blow that. The rest of the layout looks pretty clean. The board is certainly very clean. A bit congested, I guess, but it is a very, very small instrument, so that probably explains that. A couple more, yes, so there's a connector there, and a couple more connectors up there. I don't know if that's for supplying battery power or something when if the PCB's out, or connecting up for calibration. There's no... you can get to this one with the instrument case closed up. A little connector there is available through the slot here. So that could be perhaps for calibration or firmware upgrades. And then these 2 are more for quality control inside the factory, I guess. You see your main processor up there is an M430F. Fairly standard microprocessor. I presume that's the little continuity buzzer there. And if we flip him over, a little dropper circuit here with an isolation slot in there. So this will be your main high voltage transformer for your 1 kV output for your DC insulation test. Looks like we've got another PTC just there, and we've got this whopping great big fellow here. He's labelled as RV as well, but that looks more like a varistor to me. So pretty good input protection. There's a little wire link coming off of here. Not sure how well, again you can see if it will focus. Just a little off the diode there. PCB track short by the looks of it. There's a little bit of flux solder on there, on this side as well, perhaps from when you're soldering on these jacks. Yeah, and it looks like a clamping circuit arrangement there possibly. So I'm pretty impressed with that. That's looking quite nice, to be honest. Nice and clean inside. Let's say there's a bit of a compact layout, but the majority of the soldering looks to be pretty good. Very, very compact. Yeah, okay then. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you found it interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video when I've got this thing back together again.